We've got our first special guest with us this evening, Dave Dulio, the political science professor at Oakland University, also runs the Center for Civic Engagement. We want to talk a little bit about that, but first, Chuck, I think we should get a comment on your take on where this governor's race is in your view.
Sure, it's close, right? I mean, we've seen that for the last month or so. The race has tightened from a significant Whitmer lead to one that's within striking distance for Tudor Dixon, and I would say that she's got a puncher's chance tonight. I think it depends on a couple of things. Turnout for sure, and this is one of those elections, I think, that whoever does the best at getting their people to the polls, whether it's through absentee ballots or election day turnout, is probably going to come out on top. I would also add, too, that the debates that we had, including one with Channel 7, I think really had a big impact on a lot of folks and their decision on who to vote for.
Yeah, well, first of all, let's say thank you because you put a lot of hard work and partnership with us, both in the primary and also in the general of hosting those debates at Oakland University. So hopefully we didn't wear you all.
Not at all. Come back anytime.
Yeah. Brett talked about the fact of abortion being a major issue, but we've also heard the economy being a major issue. Which one do you think is going to really drive the turnout that you just talked about, or will they possibly cancel each other out?
I think it's both, right? I think the driving force behind a lot of people's votes is really individual to them. There are people out there in Michigan who are going to show up at the polls and cast a ballot solely because of the issue of abortion, but there are other folks that are going to drive down the road on the way to work or way to pick up their kids from school and cast a ballot just because they see a high gas price, right? And those are going to be things that are really individual level drivers, I think. The polling that we've seen over the last month seems to indicate for more of those folks out there, the economy has started to take over as a bigger driving force in their vote choice. But until all the votes are counted and we really can get a sense on what happened here today, who knows, right?
Right, and should Tudor Dixon be able to pull off the upset, I mean, it would be a huge upset from the standpoint of where she started against an incumbent governor who had a war chest that, was multiple times larger than Tudor Dixon as well.
Absolutely, Dave. I think it would be the biggest political upset in Michigan's history. I think, we could find
bigger than Blanchard and Engler?
I think so, simply because of that deficit that she faced, as well as, Engler was Senate Majority Leader.
That's true. He had a name and power.
And she came from nowhere, really. So I think that would be biggest upset ever.
As director of the Center for Civic Engagement at Oakland University, a nonpartisan organization, has this campaign, whether it's the top of the ticket or the down ballot races, has it reached the level of civic engagement that you're pleased with?
We will wait and see what our voter turnout numbers look like. Okay. We participate in a study that thousands of campuses do across the country, and we get voter turnout data specifically for our campus. And OU really usually has a strong showing. We usually outpace voter turnout just among our students of both Michigan and the country. So we'll see. I think 2022 might be a little off on that, but based on the way other campuses seem to be voting today, Ann Arbor and East Lansing to be specific, there seems to be pretty good interest among college kids. We'll see.
And the quick follow-up, the reason I asked that question is we've seen some recent studies that suggest that the American people are exhausted from the partisanship that we see going on a psychological level.
I think there's something to that, and who can blame them? Right, all of the television commercials. No offense, Channel 7, right? But all of the commercials that are on air during the newscast and other programs, people are saturated with negativity, which is a whole other kettle of fish, right? That we could talk about. But people they've had it up to here, and I think they're looking for a break. But at the same time, we're seeing really strong turnout in Michigan, and which I think is a great thing. And even maybe in spite of all that saturation that's out there.
Right. Stick around with us. I know you've got a little bit more time. We'll come back and touch on some other subjects as well on this night that I think is going to be beyond interesting, right?
No doubt about
To
it.
say the least.
Thank
right?
you. Dave Doolio, Professor of Political Science, Center for Civic Engagement at Oakland University, kind enough to join us again as we delve into this midterm election 2022. Chuck, thoughts in general that maybe you have at this point?
Well, normally in a midterm election, the party that is in the White House takes a beating at the political polls. We don't know that that's going to happen this time because